Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shifting Gears. I'm your host, Clutch, and I am joined by a colorful crew of professionals in the esports scene. First off, we have MLG Wigan. Wigan, good to have you on again, my friend, my constant sidekick.
Oh God! Well, always a pleasure, anyway.
Yeah, he's got the beard, so he's got more power than I do. Actually, that's how it goes. And of course, tonight, joined by Wombat, first guest on the show. Excellent caster. Wombat, welcome.
You can say things you don't mean, but you can't take them back.
That's true. And fresh off of casting half of the European online winter arena qualifiers is Tumba himself. Tumba, about ready to have a heart attack. I'm sure.
No, I'm fine, man. It's if there's anything I get pumped up for, it's Shifting Gears. I love being a guest. It's like my third time on the show, and I love it every time. So,
thank you very much, sir. Well, gentlemen, we can skip a lot of the pleasantries because we are in session. It is open season now in North America for esports. The Super Bowl is over. It is time for some StarCraft 2, my friends. And we saw some great games. We saw some great games in some previous tournaments, and now with MLG coming out with the official announcements of what's going to happen this season, at least for winter, and now finally seeing some matches on the MLG stream is good. It's good to see that finally. I first want to get into the MLG season announcements, and a little bit later on we're going to actually talk about the qualifiers and the results. And this is a main topic I wanted to bring up because we've all seen the numbers, we've seen the dates, people have seen that, we don't need to talk about that. What we do need to talk about is behind the budgets. And really that's the decision of flying these players out that get the top 8 seats in the qualifiers. Some people have complained that the prize money is maybe still too low, and the prize money for Columbus has not been revealed yet. However, if we break this down and see how much money it costs to send each of these players from Europe or Korea, or even in places within North America, to send them over to New York and to house them, that's going to add up a lot. And so it may not be the biggest of prize pools for the tournament, but we see a lot of that money going to the actual expenses for the players to come there. And I think the community needed to take a step back and understand that. What are your guys' thoughts, starting with Wigan?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those situations where the distribution of funds is a lot nicer to the teams than it is to people on the outside of it. Like, it makes it so much easier for you to send a player to a tournament if everything's going to be paid for like it is. I mean, you might not have that big sexy number of like whatever the prize is, but that's how you're going to get people to the tournament is this kind of thing, not really a huge prize. So.
Well, yeah, it's true. That's true. And you want to bring the best players there, right? That's how you have the best tournament, is getting those players there and taking care of those kind of accommodations. Would want them to come to your tournament if there's any sort of conflicts that would arise, which we have seen with the ASUS scheduling conflict with the MLG tournament. Wombat, your thoughts on that?
I gotta say, man, it's another one of those things where I feel like Sundance is making he's a good businessman because he knows how to give people, what they want. It's a smart decision to make sure the top competitors are always there. I mean, last season we saw a lot of times you'd have somebody come in and just roll, and then what are they supposed to do because they can't fly from Korea again? Their teams maybe just being like, dude, the prize pool's it's $5,000. We don't want to send you over. That whole thing. So it's a really smart move. Make sure that the top competition is always able to be there. And when you got the top competition, at least for me, that means I want to watch more. I'm now guaranteed to tune in for MLG. I think most people in general are, but it's just like, yeah, now definitely. All right, we got the top 8. They're guaranteed going to be there. Awesome. No freebies if MKP wants to come over and stomp us over and over and over again.
That's true. And Tumba, my friend, your thoughts on it.
Well, this is something I've been wrestling with a little bit, and here's where I landed on. People will watch 2 superstar players battle regardless of prize pool. So I feel like it was super smart to get the main talent. That's what you have to do right now. The priority's got to be the talent not the big showy prize money, because people do care about that. They want to see who's going to win this $1 million tournament. But above that, in SE2, esports plays by its own rules, and I feel like people just want to see the best matchups. And like Wigan and Wombat were saying, of course, it comes down to these phenomenal players being able to make it over, and if it's financially feasible. So I think it's a great decision because talent has to come first.
That's very true. And if you want to lay a strong foundation for any tournament, the talent has to be there within the realm of the players, because that's what brings the crowds. And when you have the crowds, that's where you can present that to potential sponsors and say, hey, look, we have all these people watching. We have these players that draw in tens of thousands of people that watch their individual streams. They're going to watch our streams, so why not invest in this? But it's kind of tough for the at a glance people that just see the numbers and go, well, you know, it should have been 50,000 for the first prize or whatnot, or the total prize pool. But we don't get to see those numbers. We don't get to see those checks or what adds up in those budget numbers for bringing all those players over. But this goes to the topic I want to get to now of balancing between making the fans happy and making the players happy, and also how to build a strong esports economy. With those two things in mind, you have to have the middle ground, and that's the staff. You have to have a strong staff that's able to have the technical skills, the knowledge of the players, the connections, the communication skills for these things to happen. And so,
are we about to get real in here,
dude? This is no fluff clutch right now. All right?
Yeah. No, I think it's about to get real.
It's about to get real.
I'm about to go to Twitch. Shout out to Brightside real quick, by the way. This girl follows like the esports scene like a champ. But anyway, yeah, I'm about to go into like the settings here on Twitch and see exactly who's in chat right now, because it's about to get real up in here. But you know me, I don't care. Yeah. Sundance can be in chat, and I'm going to give my opinion. I don't give a shit. So, well, okay, I see where you're going with this clutch. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, I just want to make sure it wasn't.
Oh no, we're going to get to you. We're going to get
real. To you. Air quotes. Wigan gets one more beer in him, and this might.
This is the no spin zone, man.
Yeah, well, with Wombat and Wigan,
you have pressed the clutch. Okay.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Entering the paint.
That's right. We're in the highest gear we can go, baby. Just a sec.
All right.
So, yeah, the players are the foundation, right? But you have to lay a foundation correctly for the structure to be sound. And the people that lay that foundation correctly are the staff members. Those are the producers. Those are the writers. Those are the talent executives. Those are all the people behind the scenes. That's the road crew. That's everybody in charge of the stream. That's all of the people that are trying to build a career in esports by making it happen. Yes, the players are vital. Yes, the fans are vital. But you have to have that middle point of those people there that can bring the talent of the players to the fans in an entertaining way. This is an entertainment business. People want to be entertained. That's what sports is all about. I mean, look at poker. Tamba, you can attest to this. Watching poker, there has to be an element of entertainment in it, not just card counting, not just watching these cards. You have to have a human story to it. You have to have good casters for it, and you have to have good camera angles and production setup and lighting and tables, and they even choose the kind of cards they have. That's all very vital for the entertainment aspect. And if you don't have those key people, if you don't have those key players that know how to do proper camera zooms, that know how to do proper sound engineering, that know how to do proper lighting, that know how to do IT support, that know how to translate between Korean and English, then you're not going to have these kind of events that these players can go to and show off their talent and get prize money, or the fans can go to. And if
somebody dump the clutch. Holy shit, he's on a rant. I've never heard this. I'm excited right now.
And if the esports...
Where's my pitchfork? Hold on. Let me get a torch and get on Reddit. Jesus, keep going.
If the esports structure is going to be structurally sound financially, if people really want to make a career out of it, but they don't have the time and skill to be a player, and they are obviously fans, then there needs to be that structure economically where people can say, you know what, I want to be a producer. You know what, I want to be a sound technician, and I want to make a career out of it, and I want to be working in the esports realm. We're not there yet. We are not there yet. It's really hard to do that even in Hollywood. You have to be a private contractor for so long until you get signed with a major theater company or a production company for you to have a steady job. And so these guys that have these really high hopes and these dreams of trying to make a full-time job out of esports, that's great. we need that passion, we need that fuel, because you're going to need a lot of it to carry you through those times when you're working for free. But we're not there yet as a Roman Esports, but we can be if we continue on the route we are, and to understand that love for something can only take you so far, and it doesn't pay the bills. That's what I wanted to say on that issue.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this last year has cost myself and Simpatico cost us money, personally money, in getting, show matches up and produced. None of it, in all honesty, we never thought it would gain as much traction as it did. I never thought I'd be casting at MLG or any of that stuff. It's all been a great blessing. But the reality of the fact, on two notes that you hit on there, Clutch, and I can't wait to hear what Wombat and Wigan have to say on this, but it's one of those things where you do it for the passion. It's going to cost you money. There's no doubt. You're not going to. Don't get into esports if you want to be rich. Believe me.
Yeah.
But you bring up an even better point in saying you have. It's to the point now where you can't just gimp on the lighting. Everything needs to look good. Everything needs to look right, and you should want to put the right product out there. And I love the fact that you have the big two right now. I love the fact that you've got IPL, and I love the fact that you've got MLG. I mean, those two are going to drive competition and hopefully inspire better product out of both. However, we all know there was a big changeover here earlier on from MLG. A lot of people left, some new faces in, and that can be a little bit rocky. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. I mean, I kind of see where you were formulating there, and let's be honest about it. Everybody knows about it. A lot of people left. Slasher show ended up going independent. Your show, a lot of people decided to go the independent route, which is fine. Not necessarily bad for MLG, but it is a transition period. And real quick, I'm going to wrap up on my rant. If you look at Vegas as an answer to this, there were people, Binion's Horseshoe was the most successful family-run casino for years. And when it transferred from Jack Binion to Becky Behan, his sister, she went in, she fired everybody. And she fired all of the people that knew what drinks you liked. They knew how the casino ran and worked, and they knew they were friends with you for 30 years, if you will. And that ultimately did the business in. I mean, they went a little bit overboard. I think there's a balance there that you have to really maintain when it comes to, replacing new people, getting new people. But hopefully it's all for the best, and they put out a better product at the end. That's what we can hope, right?
Hopefully.
For sure.
Yeah. Wigan, your thoughts, and then we're going to get to Wombat after this.
God. You guys already talked for like 15 minutes, man. What else is to say? Jeez. Gotta pull out Tyler here. No, I think you're it's hard to say anything without reiterating what you guys said, but there's definitely something to be willing to remove people. Like, I mean, maybe not to the extent that it's happened or the extent that you were talking about in the poker scene and stuff like that, but you have to be willing to cut ties with people that you've been with for a really long time, if they're just not getting the job done. And the esports scene especially is it's filled with people that have been in it for a long time, that have just been doing the same stuff forever and ever. But that you have to find a very delicate balance, because you need that, because you need to be able to rely on people, because sometimes you run into some sketchy people and sketchy business, and that's what ruins things. But so I don't know. It's I think the hardest part about growing something like this is finding that mix of people you can rely on and people that are skilled at what you need to get done. So that's the only thing I can really add to that is, yeah.
Right on, Wombat.
All right, it's my turn.
Go, buddy.
Good. All right, so I mean, I think about this a lot because I other than I know that me as a caster, if we don't ever develop that sort of infrastructure that we need, I never get to do this and make a living off of it, which is something that I would very much like to do. I mean, I think we all, there are a lot of people, everybody on this call right now would really love that. And I sort of look at it and I'm like, okay, MLG just made some cuts. And honestly, Sundance didn't make it. He kind of publicly said, I don't care, because he would be on stuff like VVV's show, Losers Bracket, talking to Jerry from VVV, and he'd be like, I don't really care if JP's doing this, let's hit this number of people. I want him hitting 20,000, 30,000 people every night. He knows that he needs to grow it. He knows our audience needs to expand. And I think what he's doing is, in his mind, the best that he can do to try to get it to a broader audience. Because I look at people, I hear what you're saying, Clutch, and I agree with it 100%. But I look at people who have done what you're saying without the right PR and without necessarily the best direction like in ASL. And they have all those people. They have full-time paid sound engineers and all these other people, and nobody watches their stuff because even though they're like by the book, they're doing everything right. They've got the big soundboard in the studio. They're not putting out a quality product, and I think that's kind of what Sundance is trying to do is quality control. Mm-hmm. And I mean, whether like moving away from broader entertainment like shows like State of the Game and Fuck Slasher and all those shows is the right idea, I couldn't say it personally. I like the shows. I like the the auxiliary entertainment that's not just the game. But if he doesn't feel like that's what his company needs to be doing, I hope he's right, because I don't want to see I don't want to see things slip on one side or the other. I want us to all keep moving forward. I think Sundance is working on it, and he's been pretty smart to keep MLG alive as long as it has been, and to see it thriving. So I'm hopeful, and I agree with you, and I hope that that's where we're going, but I'm not 100% convinced, and let's hope.
Yeah, I think I got to interrupt because I know Clutch. I know he's my brother. He's my younger brother because he's younger than me. But I got to interrupt real quick. I'm going to use my one interrupt card I have for that before we go on to arena qualifiers, because Wombat, you bring something up that I think is pertinent real quick. As a caster, and you and I casting, like we're casting an event coming up Monday, we never expect to get paid for any of it, right? Because a lot of the times...
Okay, what I do, I'm like, oh my God, really? Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even with Onrog, I actually donated mine back before the comment. Or the joke, whatever. We're not even going to touch on that, though. But I already donated. You know what? I was like, I'd be glad to do it. But I'm getting to a point here where, like, personalities in StarCraft are getting to the point where they're going to need to be paid. Like, Huck made the comment, casters make so much money. Really, Huck? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, there's
3 of them. Yeah,
4 or 5 casters making great money. The rest of us are up till 3 a.m. doing VODs because we love it. Don't get me wrong, but this segment is about making esports a career, and right now I feel like, MLG does one thing very great, live events. Like, they know how to do a live event, period. They've proven that. So why split off into shows and cut your staff in half, and then thus less resources for planning for a live event into going into everything that Clutch touched on, lighting and everything else. Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, you can't be whatever it is, penny, dollar foolish, penny wise, dollar for whatever. I don't even know.
Let's put it wise, pound foolish.
What the hell are you talking about?
Over, I'm going to try to pull this back together here. Stepping over $1 to pick up a penny, right? You can't do that either. You've kind of got to invest in your talent a little bit. And I'm wondering, I mean, you see guys like DJ Wheat, right? Because he does MLG and IPL. So at some point, there's going to be a line drawn in the sand, I think. And IPL, I feel, is already ahead on this because they have staff casters that they've invested in that have already become more popular. They've got Cat's Pajamas. And you know what? When they picked him up, wasn't very popular. Bold move on their part. Good investment paid off for him because he is a great caster and he is a good personality and he's going to hold numbers. But when, like, they put me up with JP today, who's Tumba? You know what I mean? I'm an underground caster. I know what I am. I'm not going to make any calls about it, and I love doing that. But I at some point, you got to put up or shut up, I feel, and that's kind of what concerns me in the whole, not just MLG, all of them, so.
Yeah, well, I think it's getting to the point where people have come to expect a product that's good enough that you can't really make for free anymore. Like, you can't put the time in and the effort and not get paid. Like, anyone who's working in esports right now is, like, working multiple jobs. Like, I work at a fucking car wash so I can go to MLG events, And I'm not even that. I'm just an admin. So you have these people. You have people that are, like, incredibly passionate. They really, really want to do it, but you gotta shell out for it a little bit. Otherwise, you're not going to get a good enough product. You can't just get rid of people.
No, yeah, Frode made a good point in chat. I mean, you said it so eloquently. Frode made a good point in chat where he was saying, he's a community caster, does stuff for Playham, does stuff for MLG, and it's one of those things where, well, somebody's willing to do it for free. Well, that's fine. There could be an endless drove of people that want to do this for free, and every single time one of those people that wants to do it for free is a revolving door and gets on there with a JP or with a Mr. Bitter or whoever else, it's going to be, if you go with that revolving door, they're never going to gain traction in terms of popularity or stream numbers because it's always going to be, who's this guy? And everybody's skeptical. Well, I hate this guy. He's a shitty caster. And he could be the best caster in the world, but you have to earn. You have to go through that baptism by fire, if you will, that rite of passage that every caster apart from Tastosis, has to go through.
And it builds a loyalty. It builds a loyalty of the product. If you have the same product and you see it grow or you see it get better, you become more loyal to it. Or if you love them off the bat, then you're an automatic follower and a fan. But what I'm afraid of is they have the proper talent and the tools in place, and then what happens is, well, you were doing it for free, so we're not going to pay you. And the person's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I love it. I love what I do. It's the best job I've ever had. But I can't do this for free. I got bills to pay. Some people have families, mouths to feed. So it's great that we are able to do this out of passion. But honestly, right now, for the product to get better, it has to have people that are able to do it full time. Because it can't just be part-time work 1 weekend out of a month if you want to make a better product. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's the man hours that you need, and in order to fuel that passion, you have to have a full stomach.
Absolutely. Well, and also, I mean, just the talk, too, of quality product. Like, yeah, you have infinite free casters, but at one point do you start saying, okay, we don't just need a guy who's going to be cheap. Like, we need the best. I mean, because especially, when you got Sundance hinting at ESPN, he's like, had a little meeting with ESPN today. It's like, you really think that they're going to put somebody on that's not, like, at least good enough to be on ESPN too? Like, you can't just slide anybody up there. You can't just have the guy who's willing to do it for free, but maybe he's not, good enough in general, like whatever that metric is, for TV presence. Like, if we're going to sell ourselves as a professional, sporting thing, we've got to start, acting like it in so many different ways by not just saying, all right, well, these guys do it and they've got a lot of passion for it. But like, a lot of people have passion for stuff and suck at it. There are people out there, just go to like DeviantArt and look at half the people they're drawing every day and it looks awful, so there has to be at some point this concentration of, we want professional product. We need professional casters and editors and sound guys and website technicians, MLG.
Very true, gentlemen. Well, we have some other topics to cover tonight, so we should move on. But I appreciate your comments, and I also appreciate the comments in chat. All right, so our next topic is the MLG European Arena Qualifier for the winter season, for the winter arena. Top 8, Rhett, Violet, Thorzane, Mers, Grubby, Pommy, Show, and Sake. That's a pretty good lineup for the European scene. Violet,
unreal.
Tumba, Violet,
my man Violet.
Oh my gosh.
Violent, I call him, because he's just so aggressive, man. Just against Rhett, and poor Rhett, man, makes it so deep every time. Again, it was for seeding, right? He already made the top 8, but man, Violet was definitely the story of that. Getting to cast those games with JP, so much fun. What can I say, man? I mean, the guy plays a vicious brand of Zerg. He has, a lot of people didn't know him in NA because they haven't been exposed to him, but he does have Code A, had Code A status and Code S status at one time. So, hell of a player, man. He's my pick, actually. It's hard not to pick him. Out of those 8, he can definitely take it all. He's amazing.
Oh, seeing his performances against many of the players, especially Rhett in that final series, coming back in that best of 7, he was down 2-0 to Rhett. Phenomenal.
In his worst series. ZVZ's his worst series is Rhett's best.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean, come on.
If there's still excitement in this game, it's still anybody's game coming up in these multiple series, and then we're going to have Korea and the North America coming up, so very exciting to watch. Well, we're going to break this down as far as the format of what MLG introduced here with the arena. And first off is the time zone. These are European players, and most of their fans are going to be European, yet the time zone for this tournament is a North American Eastern time. I don't know about you guys, but right off the bat, and I'm going to be fair about this, but right off the bat, that's almost insulting to Europe. Like, hey, this tournament's for you guys, but it's going to be on our time.
Speaking of insulting to Europe, do we go to Tumba first on this one?
Oh, why? It was just France, and I love the French. If you can't take a joke, grow up.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, I got a lot of fans out of that anyway. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's a joke. Too many people are afraid to tell jokes nowadays. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And way to go, Wigan.
Sorry.
God.
No, Clutch.
Yeah,
I mean, what can I say? You're right. I mean,
Wigan.
I don't understand it. Like, it's Europe. and you're getting NA exposure, but if you want the stream numbers, like, it has to be accommodating to Europeans. Unless they're just figuring, you know what, we're going to get VOD hits on it. I don't know. But everybody wants to watch live events, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, I'm guessing the main reason why they have to do it at a Eastern time, 7 p.m., is because the sponsor money is North American money. That's who's fronting this tournament. It's a North American company with North American companies investing or sponsoring this tournament. So they want to show them, the people that are giving up the money, hey, this is going to be at a prime time for America. That would be my main case of why they did it that way. I would have no problem watching at 4 o'clock if my schedule allowed for it, or watching the VODs, because that would be a little bit better prime time time slot for Europe. But you know, the players are from Europe, and they're not from North America. Some of the players I was not even very familiar with, and I know the fans are from all over, but it seemed at first kind of odd to have that kind of time slot. You guys' thoughts on that? Besides Tumba, Wombat, or Wigan?
I get it, but I also like, because I do a European League cast, which means I'm up at like 11 for, it's 8 o'clock Central European times, like 11 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 p.m. on the East Coast, and I don't see why they couldn't have found like something in there, like in the middle. I know it's not exactly prime time, you know, and of course people don't want to watch it, but I feel like there's probably a time they could have smacked somewhere in there, but then maybe not. Maybe the sponsors, like you said, came in and got pissed off. But yeah, I mean, Europe, I mean, there's so many people in there that I'm sure a lot of American fans have never even heard of. You know, I got my hipster love of the European StarCraft scene, so I was all like, oh, goody, and I did that for like 20 minutes. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's about stream hits or if it's about the right location for the hits that they're getting, you know?
Yeah.
Or the sponsors.
Yeah.
Like you guys said. I didn't even factor that in. That's probably the biggest factor.
Yeah. Dr. Pepper, man. I don't know what they call it in Sweden, but
I'm not sure.
it's probably delicious. Just the same. 23 distinct flavors. It's not quite root beer. It's not quite cola, you know?
Oh, boy. Yeah, boy.
When Dr. Pepper goes into Germany, they say, where are your flavors? Instead of papers. Bad joke.
No.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Shifting gears.
No.
All right. Well, I thought it was a great move by MLG to have Apollo cast the first half of the weekend.
Oh, my God.
Hell yeah.
Because he's a great caster, and he also knows these players. He's seen them in different tournaments that happen in Europe. He's more familiar with their background and can tell little stories or quibs, especially when JP asks a question to him.
Easy,
that he can come back. That I didn't know about. I didn't know anything about MERS. I didn't know anything about MERS.
You don't know anything about MERS?
No, I didn't.
Get out of
Hold
here,
it.
Clutch.
He's been to MLG.
Did you know
Come on.
about Feast? Did you know Feast was Grubby's 2v2 partner?
Yeah.
Not you, Wombat. You're a
Oh,
captain.
sorry.
No, I didn't. And unfortunately, it's because
Did Apollo give that little quib, or did Tumba?
I think Tumba did.
Oh, it's
Tumba did. That's right.
Look it up on the internet.
Because Tumba knows Adebisi, and he called him.
Very true. But it was a good flavor to have. And
No,
also,
he was great. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He was made. Actually, I'm sure if MLG, the smart decision, if they could have gotten Apollo Clutch for all of the casting, and I told them this too when they asked me, I said, listen, I was a backup in case he couldn't make it for all of them. And I said, you know, yeah, I am more than happy to take second seat to Apollo because that guy is amazing. You know, I try to attain his skill level when it comes to casting him and, you know, of course, Tasteless, Artosis, and I'm not going to mention them all, but no, you're right. He's awesome.
yeah.
He's awesome.
From a shallow perspective, that accent, for me, labeled it European from Apollo.
Yeah, it made it classier instantly.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yes.
Just stepped up.
Yes.
I had to
yes.
put down a tea cozy and just, I didn't have a teep or anything. I just put it down near my seat, and I was like, yeah. Now Apollo won't be offended.
The pinky was in the air.
The whole time. No cup or anything. It just a tea cozy, pinky up.
That's how
I'm
he's
about-
clicking on his mouse with his pinky
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yes.
I did. Very
So
good. All right. Well, it was good to hear him cast. It's good to see him involved in MLG. I know he's been wanting to do it for a while. I've definitely seen his tweets over the last year of 2011. But Tumba,
Yeah.
you're on our show, not Apollo. Tell us, how did you prepare for casting with JP?
Oh, do tell us.
You wouldn't. Well, of course, I had a benefit of doing a lot of the Playhem EU dailies back when I was Playhem initially. So I got familiar with a lot of players. Also getting to cast with Caleris, who is just on the rise. That guy is just, he's a firecracker, man. He's going to be, I have no doubt he'll make it in casting. He gave me a lot of help back in the day, familiarizing myself with these players. So I had that edge going into this. Of course, but I think you have to look at each individual tournament, and there's one sort of special story out of this, and we've already touched on it 100 times. It was Violet, obviously. So that helps, too, when there's that storyline. But also, Apollo's tutorials for beginning StarCraft, if you're a new StarCraft player, hell, if you just like Apollo, watch those tutorials, because he talked about them on when he was casting, and just to continue the plug with him, he is amazing. Those tutorials are awesome. So if you're new to StarCraft, check those out.
How was it for you being in the game, but not physically there, and being over Skype with JP? Was a little bit daunting at first, trying to coordinate what was going on compared to your experience with a live MLG event or the beta casting program?
Yeah, I actually had said that I would pay for my own ticket and fly up, just because if they needed any extra additional help. But I think that's going a bit too far. I think they would even feel they were taking advantage at that point. But I mean, there's nothing better than being at the desk. I mean, although I could stand up right now and show you that I'm in Fila sweatpants that I was in the whole time. So I have a dress shirt and Fila sweatpants on. So that was the only bonus to that. But yeah, no, I'd love to be in New York in the studio, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the difference, and we're going to get into this a little bit later too, of a live audience and being there right next to the caster. It's a different energy. It is completely different. It's still great seeing the back-to-back conversations of you and JP or Apollo and JP. Was seamless. It was very quick, and it almost felt like you guys were sitting next to each other. But there's a difference between the live and the replay. We're gonna get to that later. But what was your favorite game to cast?
Favorite game, and it's gonna sound cheap because it was a mirror match, but it had to be Violet Ret. It was so exciting, and you got different tempos of the game. You had quick games and some long games and a lot of strategy. So that was my favorite series by far.
Right on, man. I'll have to agree with you. I felt like the stakes were highest for that match, especially with Violet coming in with the 2-0 down. Let's talk about Skype. Skype Rage. Now, I don't even know if the people that developed Skype know how crucial it is right now to live broadcasting. Not just esports, but live broadcasting in general. And there were multiple moments when it crashed on you during the event, correct?
Correct. Yesterday. Today it was fine. Yesterday, not so much. And, it's something that I feel that casters, this shows your professionalism. Bitter and I went through it on Onrog, and Bitter was dropping a couple times, but you just go on with the show. And, I mean, that's where you do it. It's frustrating, but it's the best technology we have right now to use. So, you do what you can. I'm not sure what JP said when I was off air. I never did get to hear it, but I'm sure it was frustrating for him as well.
It was seamless for him. He recovered very well. It's like, well, looks like we lost Tumba, but we're going to keep going here. Then you would pop right back into the conversation with the same play-by-play going on. It was actually kind of entertaining that you would keep the ball in the air back and forth between you guys, even if you weren't in the call. But Wigan, you've been having some Skype issues. Wombat, Skype for you, has it been a dream or has it been a nightmare? What's your experience with this program we're using?
I haven't had the problem. I haven't had problems with Skype, and I mean maybe it's like just pure luck. I know I upgraded to the beta the other day to try to fix this weird chat issue where I was seeing pencils all the time, and it was very scary. And I have a thing with pencils. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of problems. Like the beta caused me to blue screen, so I got rid of that. And I mean maybe it's because I have FiOS. I don't really know. But I've never really had a whole lot of a problem with it. But every now and again, somebody will get roboty, or I'll get roboty, and that's pretty much the worst I've gotten is the horrible digitized voice issues, which is pretty annoying when it happens. But otherwise It's been fine.
Yeah, you still
I'm
understand
lucky.
you.
Yeah.
Sometimes
lucky guy.
when that happens to Artosis during State of the Game, JP will put a little Autobot symbol up there.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Everybody loves the robots, man.
Yeah, robots. Why not? Is there a more stable alternative to Skype, or is this the best that we have?
For video, Skype, I mean, there is another one. I forget what it's called. I had it downloaded. Travis Heasel was telling me about it, but I got rid of it. And then Mumble is decent if you have, like, production. For those of you that want to do, like, a legit production, like, and this is what Well Played was really good at in the Sunday Night Fights, like, they have Mumble production while you're, so they can talk to you and say, okay, 5 minutes to commercial while you're on air casting. But again, you're using Skype in that equation, right? So you're using Skype to cast and then Mumble as a background option. Yeah. I don't know, Wombat. Could you use Mumble?
I would, for back end, I agree with you 100%. But the quality and the delay are the two biggest issues. Because I mean, it doesn't. It's not like real time packet priority like Skype tends to be, where Skype's like it's supposed to be like a phone call as much as possible. Mumble like doesn't always, but it can introduce delay. Google Talk, a friend was telling me recently, is supposed to have really nice video and audio codec support. Like it's really quick and particularly stable, but I just haven't tried it yet. So that's been the one I heard. But yeah,
that's the vehicle of esports, right, Tumba? Stuff just breaks down.
Yeah,
but
just let it go.
It wasn't too bad, honestly. You guys plowed through it, and it didn't turn out to be an annoyance. What was an annoyance sometimes, though, was the stream shutting down for no reason. And
I don't
know if that was on Twitch's end or the servers or whatnot, but it would happen to a lot of people, and we would wait and then refresh our browsers, and then it would be fine. So
yeah, it's there. People are quick to the pitchforks too, and you need to realize, man, the amount of technology, and it wasn't necessarily designed for doing what we're doing with it, that goes into it. Like, have a little patience. We're gonna fix it. It's not like we're standing there going, "Oh yay, a crash! Yay!
Yeah,
Yay!"
Yeah. Nobody's smiling when there's a crash.
Yeah,
that has been my favorite thing about esports, though, is the second something goes wrong, people act like that's the end of it. There won't be another StarCraft game tomorrow.
That's what they do.
This was the last one ever, and look what you did. Yeah, like it's okay, guys. There's more. It's just calm down.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, it gets crazy, and a lot of times it's free. They haven't paid anything to watch.
Yeah.
Like, this is terrible. You didn't invest any money in this, bro. Calm down.
Yeah.
But hey, that's the true character of a show or a production, is when those bad things happen, what do? Do they go, well, I guess that's over, or do they keep going? You guys plowed through, so it wasn't a big deal. Still, it didn't ruin the tournament. But let's shift gears here, and we're going to go into this big debate I think that people are starting to get into of the live games versus the replay games.
Ugh.
And I want to break this down. Replays, to me, the stakes are lower. You have no crowd reactions, and crowd reactions bring energy to anything. You can have somebody opening a soda can. If there's a crowd reaction, it's going to be exciting. However, a benefit is there's little to no downtime, and you have more control of commercial breaks, and the players are fully rested, perhaps. Now, with a live setting, you have crowds, you have noise, you have reactions, you have energy. The stakes are higher. You have in-the-moment reactions of the players. You have camera shots of the players in the booths. You can see the sweat pouring down their faces sometimes. However, a drawback is you have varying schedules and you have some downtimes you have to fill. But hey, that's why they had me. And then you have players running on adrenaline. So they could be not as well rested, but playing in front of a crowd could give them some sort of energy boost they would not have sitting in a computer by themselves in an apartment in Korea. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Let's start with you, Tumba.
Well, I mean, for me, I can tell you right now, it's way easier to get excited casting at a live event. I don't care if it's Halo behind me. It's Halo, people are going nuts, I'm amped, right? Because it's that energy you feed off. Way easier to get amped up than a producer telling you, okay, guys, pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, pick it up. So, okay, guys, pick it up means I'm failing at my job. You shouldn't have to tell me that, right? I should be up. So it's harder to do as a caster from replays. Also, replays getting leaked, man. What the F is this about? Like, Replay should go out literally in spoiler-free folders, because I don't want to see who wins. They should go out in spoiler-free folders to only a select amount of people. And then those people are on the line. If that is leaked, you know. So, okay, one of these people leaked it. Like,
Yep.
you know, so it should be really under lock and key. Nobody wants results spoiled, period. And, you know, it's a necessary evil, and it has its benefits, and it'll never beat a live event, though. It'll never beat going live, ever.
Wigan?
I mean, like, it's watching anything from replays just sucks, man. It's something you have to do, but any way you could make it live, I think would be better. Like, look at, I guess we can talk about it now since we're independent. Look at NASL. I stopped giving any shits about NASL when I heard that there were like 5-week delays between like when a game was played and when it was showed, and you can tell the metagame is shifted from when a game is played and when it's shown and when it's actually shown. And I understand that like you need it sometimes for production value and stuff like that. But it's like absolutely, like Tumba said, man, it's a necessary evil that I wish there was like any way we could get around. I mean, realistically, you can't have all these European players like getting up and playing all at the same time. It just wouldn't go well. But but man, it sucks when you have to do something from replays. At least with the MLG stuff, it was played like really recently and then came out. So if you have to do it from replays, do it like that. Don't waste a bunch of time between when you get the games finished and then when you actually put the product out. Though that's just can't stand it, man.
Well, it'd be Nursky in chat says they could cast the replays like a live event, or they could cast the games live and then use them as VODs for the stream later on. Like you could have a production crew go to Europe, set up a small studio.
Would be amazing.
And you have 2 casters there for the whole thing. You have a studio audience of 500 people, and you go through with all the players there and you streamline all those games, and then you can break it up when you cast it later, like the following week, and it would still look like a live event, but it would be showed at a later time. So that's a possibility, maybe.
Day9 did it. Day9 did it. He went to Germany, a year ago and set up shop. Did it live from the event. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Wombat, your thoughts?
I could agree with flying out for like flying out, actually doing it live, and then playing it from a recording not too long after, because to me that's a live event. Like that counts. Not necessarily when I'm watching it, but it's sort of like with the World Series of Poker. Like those are all done in like a couple of days, and then they show it over whatever amount of time. And I'm not like pissed off about it or anything like that. But what really, I'm a hardliner on replays. They piss me off, they make me sick, and I hate it for a couple of reasons. For one, it's just like, as a caster, I've gotten to the point where I can pretend like I don't know what's going on, but anytime somebody tries to shove in my face a replay that they're casting and pretending it's live, it just pisses me off. Because, like, all right, screw you. Tell me it's a replay. Like, don't pretend it's live. You're fucking with me. Because then I'm going to look, and the guy's streaming right now, and he's not playing your game. So, okay, now I know it's a replay, but you're still pretending like I should care, like he's there in the studio. And I just hate that, because we know. Like, the feel is different, and that needs to be respected extremely deeply. And the sort of second reason I hate it is because, like, all right, there's a reasonable excuse for Koreans and Europeans who voluntarily join these tournaments. That's their choice. They know it's a North American tournament. Just going to throw that in before I continue down the line. A lot of players are really prima donnas about getting their shit cast live and showing up on time for tournaments. And especially since we've raised the specter of the NASL, if I was giving out $50,000 and you told me that you couldn't make it on time, I would just tell you to go fuck yourself, because that's $50,000.
It's a free roll. Like, how do you not respect that?
If you can't get up at whatever time of day to do your job for $50,000,
professional.
But you've still got Great Torp casting like 80 hours a week for no reason, so that 600 people can watch him be sad and tired. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you've got a caster working his ass off and a player that's just like, well, that time doesn't really work for me. Like, that's cool. Just don't have any money then, Yeah.
Well, that stems into, I think some people are afraid to say no to some players or to say no in the system of esports because it's still a growing entity.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
feel,
there's definitely an
ooh,
old
we don't want to
guard
hurt
that's
anybody. We don't want to hurt any feelings or pop anything. No, it's at the point in time now that you've got to be professional. If you're not, then I'm not going to treat you like a professional. And guess what? Professionals earn money. And if you're not going to act like one, no money for you.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said. There's still a lot of old guard. Like the fact that we all came up. Well, not all of us. I mean, StarCraft 2 really opened the floodgate for new people. Mm-hmm. But there's still a lot of sort of old guard of like these people who've been there since CS 1.6, and there's this sort of I think lingering terror that since they've got this near monopoly on great players and they all know each other, that if they start saying, all right, blackball that tournament, then that's what happens, especially with Team Liquid holding an utter monopoly on traffic. Like, yeah. I mean, that's terrifying for a lot of people that, like, if Team Liquid doesn't like you, like, look what happened to Well Played. They got in their stupid little cat fight over pride and whatever, and, Well Played was putting on one of the best shows every week that I've watched, like this awesome 4-man invitational tournament with top players and great production value, and it's nowhere because TL said so. It's kind of scary. So there's that, and I don't know. There's too much drama behind the scenes in esports.
Too much drama, not enough money.
Yeah, it's a niche community. We got to be working together, man.
That's right. Exactly.
So
got to be working together.
Competition later. Okay, when we're all billionaires, we can piss over whatever we're upset about. But yeah, live casting. Yeah, I'm sorry, I pulled that off on a tangent. But yeah, live casting is better.
It's okay, man.
Yeah.
The numbers confirm that. I feel like.
Yeah, very much so. The energy is different, and it could be your second time ever watching an esports event, and you will know the difference between a replay and a live event. Just the stakes are higher at a live event. For everybody, for the fans, for the player, for the casters.
Well, look at IEM too. IEM didn't even have a huge crowd, but I was still way more pumped watching IEM than I am watching anything that I know is coming out of replays. Like it's not even necessarily about a live crowd being there. It's just knowing like these guys are duking it out right now. Like that weighs in the back of your mind. Like they're really feeling this emotion about winning and losing the same as I am. Right now, not like a week ago.
Well, heck, if it comes down to it, throw me there with a microphone, interview the player after they win, and have the MLG staff in the background clapping. That's better than just a replay, I think. It's some sort of reaction. Anyways, appreciate your thoughts on that, gentlemen, but I think that's a consensus of the entire esports community of they would much rather have a live event than replays. But not to take away what MLG is trying to do. They're trying to give us more StarCraft 2 content, the same with IPL and even NASL. They have these between live event tournaments or matches going on. It's better than nothing, but still there needs to be some sort of amped up revolution when it comes to that. It needs to be something better because it's a long ways till March still till I go to Columbus, and that's where I'm going to get super excited for StarCraft 2 and for the other games on the pro circuit. But it's those live events, and then maybe IPL for spring break. Be a lot of fun, which we'll talk about that in a sec. But first, we're going to talk about the MLG Community Caster Program, which is making its appearance this year. Tumba is heading it up, helping here and there with it. So,
okay,
how's that going?
No, okay, Mr. Modest.
He's saying that so he can blame you when everything goes wrong.
No, that's not true. No, they're going to blame me. They're like, you were ahead of this last year, and now look at it fall apart. It's your fault.
Okay, no. For those of you that don't know, the truth of the matter is Clutch got me my start at MLG. Like, he was doing the Community Caster program last year, and I think some like Lish and some of the other people at MLG were doing it. And we had a lot of success when it came beta time, getting the beta streams up. And Clutch was always checking in on us, like Big Brother Clutch. So you had like Lee Chen. Let me tell you one thing about MLG. Like, they care. Like, at the end of the day, the entire staff care. Like, yeah, you know what? Stuff was cast from replay. It's not the most optimum, but we're going to give the best we possibly can. And talking about the Community Caster program for a second, there's a little bit of experimentation going on. And you saw, like, Adebisi and I did winter bracket semifinals after the main show. So we, of course, did those off replay. They were in the can and ready to go. It was a pretty seamless passing of the baton, but we didn't try to pass it off as live. People still got to watch the match. They already knew the whole thing was encompassed in replay anyway. So they enjoyed it. You know, they were asking for more when it was done. Now, trying to fill Clutch's footsteps, like he got this thing off the ground, right? And it went, we had this nice VOD page last year and all these great links and Facebook likes, and the whole thing went really well. And Clutch would send you replays. And, you know, he was always checking in. And if you needed help in coding or if you needed help, well, he's still doing the same thing. But I think there's always like room for improvement. So I can't talk about it too much, I guess, because there's always wants to keep things under wraps. But just put it this way, Clutch and I have bounced a lot of ideas off each other, and there's some improvements that we're trying to make to the community caster program that I feel are going to be significant and really enjoyed. And couple that with the head producers at MLG that care. And what I'll wrap it up with is saying it's amazing that MLG has got a grassroots initiative like this because they don't have to.
Yeah.
This is literally them taking the time to say, we're going to foster young talent here to come up with new players. You're going to get to see new casters also. And you know what? Some of them might be a little shaky. Some of them a little bit nervous. But we're going to back them. And we're going to give them the opportunity to succeed. And you can't ask for anything. The rest is on you. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're new in esports, if you're a caster trying to make it, it's not up to MLG if you're going to make it or not. It's not. It's up to you. At the end of the day, it's up to you. If you want anything in life, it's up to you to do it. You can't ever let somebody tell you you're not going to do it or it can't be done. And MLG is making it that much easier with this program by saying, here's your opportunity. Anybody that's a caster that wants a shot, hit us up. We'll listen to your stuff and see if we can work you in. So that's awesome because you need to have that corporate grassroots tie in there no matter what. And I think you can't go wrong with that. So kudos to them for that. And Clutch, I won't screw up your baby, I promise.
No, it's in the adolescent phase. It's going through the teenage years where it needs to grow. No, it does.
Is it getting drunk on prom night and coming home with a little MLG junior?
No, I'm very proud of the program. I am so glad that it was implemented last year through Lee Chen and Steven and other people at MLG, and kind of fell into my lap, and to see it grow is great. But Tumba, you hit the nail on the head. It's to foster talent. It's to find talent and foster it. And so these people that want a shot at casting can add it to their resume and say, I casted for MLG Community Caster Program. So if they, obviously they can't make a living off it yet, but hopefully the next couple years they can maybe land a spot somewhere because they had that on their resume years ago and somebody gave them a shot somewhere else, or MLG gave them a shot. MLG flew them out to an event. So it is great to have that grassroots initiative and to develop that kind of talent, because people that have the passion and have the talent just need that outlet. They need that chance for it to grow. Because it's a difficult market, especially when you have it so saturated by people that are so good, like Day9 or Tastosis or DJ Wheat, that deserve where they are at now because they've put in the years of being involved in esports. So more details to follow, of course, with Tumba and myself, but if you are interested in the Community Caster program, send me a tweet on Twitter at Clutch08 or hit up Tumba at TumbaSC and have some work on your YouTube channel and we can check it out. Shifting gears now, we're going to talk about some IPL4 coming up. Hinted that it's going to be during spring break and at Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's big.
Woo! It kind of ruins it for me because I didn't make it to Atlantic City, but all I will do is play poker. Like, that's all I'm gonna do if I go to Vegas. Like that and buffets and strippers. That's it.
Wow. I'd maybe see a show.
Summed up my first 30 years of life.
I maybe see
in one sentence.
Phantom of the Opera, maybe. But
all right, that's cool. Zumanity, I hear, is an awesome show. I want to see the Penn and Teller. I love those guys.
Blue Man
Group.
Great show.
It's been so much time.
Oh, go see O. O's amazing. O is, every time I go, I have to see O.
Oh, man. See, this is the problem. Like that, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, go see O.
It's going to be esports all weekend long. But there's just so many other
There's a lot to do in Vegas. There really is a lot to do in Vegas.
But no, I'm legitimately excited for it because I'm pretty sure League of Legends is going to be there as well. So I mean, there's just going to be a lot for me to do because I do League as well, which I know is like blasphemy because we're all StarCraft elitists. But
I play League. I love League.
Yeah, we all play League.
That's the 15 years topic for the next show is like League of Legends. Is a caster? Do you have to cast like? Can you just afford to cast one game, or do you need to be multifaceted like that? I wonder the same thing. Like,
would the community respect you less if you're multifaceted?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's going to be.
I do what I want, man, because nobody knows who the hell I am, so I can't get really in trouble for anything. I just go, yeah, I'm going to cast League now, and everybody's like, you're a traitor. And I'm like, to who?
You don't even know who I am.
To all 7 of my fans? Oh, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, that is exciting news as well. Still no official announcement if League of Legends will be on the MLG Pro Circuit, but come on, it's going to be. It's going to be. It had one of the highest numbers last year, so I can't see why it would not be on the Pro Circuit.
Better be.
But yeah, League of Legends plus Riot throwing up the $5 million for their prize pool this year. Very exciting stuff.
Oh, yeah. And August, I think, is when they're doing their big final, which we don't know anything about, but it's in August. It's going to be exciting. IPL really doing a good job. And the South by Southwest thing, I don't think we have that on the list, but...
Oh, no, we don't.
South by Southwest, they're doing an invitational... IPL is down there, so that's going to be... If you guys are going to South by Southwest, if you're not, it's a good reason to go. I believe they're having League and StarCraft for that one.
I think, one thing we talked about improvements everybody can make, like IPL, and Anna Prosser was awesome. Like, come on, she is a host, like professional, the consummate host. But, I mean, I don't know. IPL could stand to use a clutch or two because that comedian, man, did not... I'm sorry, buddy. Like, from me to you... I know it wasn't easy for you either. I'm not going to pick on that, man. I respect him because it's tough to keep going on knowing that it's a hard time. So,
well, and that's a character he was given, too. Like, that's not even, I mean, it hurts as much as it hurts, but somebody wrote that guy's material. Like, those weren't his jokes, probably. That was some, like, ham-fisted person at IPL.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he played StarCraft. Honestly,
I expect not.
Yeah, because when he was doing
well,
go ahead.
Not to interrupt, but also Clutch after that. Fast forward to DreamHack. Who was that host there? Who's that guy? Like, he didn't do that well, and he's got like a following, and he was sort of put in an awkward situation. I mean, we're getting real up in here. Like the Clutch alternatives for these other tournaments have sort of really.
Yeah.
Wow. Like
I don't have his sense of
it was not a fail, man. It was like an epic fail. Like they did not. I'm pretty sure if you offered them the job plus 10,000, they'd be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to go. I got thick skin, but man, Reddit gave me black eyes and a bloody nose. So no, keep your 10 grand.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it's an art. And people, Tumba jabs at me because I'm getting my degree in acting.
He started
Here he goes. But it's true.
I'm going to school for acting.
Yes.
Like, we're going to go in the land of pretend like when we were 7, and that's a degree. Hey, guys, watch me act real serious real quick. Watch.
No, Clutch. I agree, Clutch. That's a very, very poignant point you're making, and you know what? You go to a very good school, and that's very serious stuff, and that's a serious degree.
See,
Academy Award
right there
for that trolling.
No, but in all seriousness,
that's CSI level quality acting.
But it's not. The thing is, it's not about being different characters as well. It's about being able to be a presenter, to be engaging, people to enjoy watching what you do.
Stop. So. And I go over this every time. Big brother, older, younger. Listen. I respect what you do. It's just easy to make fun of because you're right. It is very hard to be a stage actor. It's very hard to learn that craft. And like your voice is your tool. Your emotions are your tool. Your body's your tool. So it's hard to do and pull off. You got up and moonwalked in front of a full crowd at BlizzCon. Who does that? Like I couldn't do that, right? So acting is definitely tough. It's not an easy thing to do. You really have to put yourself out there, and you're really vulnerable in that aspect. And you're a trained professional going to one of the most elite colleges in the country, so good on you for that. And there I did it again. I was acting serious right there.
Oh man, he drew you in. I saw you guys saw Clutch got a little doe-eyed. He was.
That's
he
right.
Was like, Tumbo approves.
Yeah,
Papa Tumbo approves. Oh.
No, it's tough.
Dreams come true.
And I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. MLG does not realize what they got with Clutch. Because if you look at the alternative for IPL, if you look at the alternative for, and I don't have to kiss Clutch's ass anymore. I don't have to kiss his ass. I'm where, you know what I mean? I'm a self-fulfilled person if I never cast another day in my life. But, so in all honesty, the IPL didn't go off really well. The DreamHack did not go off very well, and it's because Clutch is a trained actor, but it's not just that. It's the fact that he's a trained actor that also is passionate about video games. And if you've ever watched, if you don't think he's passionate about video games, watch Shifting Gears. And I'm not just talking StarCraft. I'm talking D3. He's got the books, the lore, the whole nine. I'm borrowing StarCraft books from him. Queen of Blades he sent me. Like, he knows the lore. He knows everything. Like, him and Wigan, mad passionate about esports. So they got really lucky when they got actually the both of you.
Yeah, it's true. And Wigan, you know, he's got a lot of talents that a lot of these companies, especially MLG, can definitely use on the production side as well. Hell, the kid
go to school for.
Yeah, he didn't have to go to school. The kid's a genius at video games. Sit him down, and I'll go to a mutual friend of ours' house and be like, "Hey, you want to play Smash Brothers?" Say, "No, Wigan, I don't want to go cry in a closet for 2 hours after you destroy me." No, I don't. But
part of it too, and this is like at Tumba, because he's picking on you. I feel like as a caster, there's an art to that too. Like, we have to develop.
Definitely.
Like, I know I still have my first cast online. If I was that guy still, like, if I didn't develop my craft in any way, shape, or form, like that, no, I wouldn't be on this show right now. Mm-hmm. Nobody would want to listen to me because it was god awful.
I sounded pants on head retarded in my
first. It's so bad.
But I was excited as shit, man. It was a Bronze League Amateur StarCraft Weekly, and it was a PVT, man, and I was like, he took an assimilator, there's an assimilator, he's going to saturate it. Like, the most mundane thing I got excited about. It didn't matter. Like, it was so much fun. But you're right, yeah, you have to develop. Yeah, for sure.
It's very true. But this also ties in what we were talking about earlier, gentlemen, is if you have the people that have the talent and the passion, they need to be able to do it full time. Because if you're going to be grasping at straws trying to fill voids if they move on to somewhere else where the money is. And then people are like, why did they get rid of him? Where is he? Where'd he go? Or she? Where'd they go? What happened?
Did you just Lindsay Sporer reference? Is that like, where'd she go?
Hey, she had the looks, but she didn't have the passion. So
that's true.
I don't know if she ever played a video game in her life.
I'm sorry. You said
she had la passion, as you would say. Yeah. But that's almost disrespectful to the community, what NASL. I know what NASL was trying to do, and they were going to try to train her a couple days beforehand so she was familiar with the game. That's what her agent told her, but it didn't work out that way. And guess what? We saw that happen live.
Okay, actually, I got it because I was there. Yeah. I talked to her, and I got the whole story. And I felt really bad for her because she was supposed to come in for Season 2. Like, that's what they had set her up for.
Okay.
And she got a call on Friday night that they wanted her for Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, it's impossible.
And so she didn't, like, she was like, oh, I've got weeks before I have to do anything here. So she literally all day Saturday, she was on her iPad, like, which is just perfect for her, like looking up StarCraft 2 stuff. And I know Tempo was trying to help her out. And there were just a bunch of people like trying to like get her caught up because she was trying her best, but like you know, when you get called the night before, it's not easy at all. So my heart goes out to her a little bit, but it was also hilarious.
Yeah, well, it's not her fault in any way. It's the people that hired her's fault of saying, well, it'll be all right. She'll be fine. She'll be okay. It's not true, man. It's not true.
She's a professional actor. What could go wrong? She has a degree.
She's a blonde. Yeah.
There's no barrier.
Somebody get Clutch on the phone.
No, she's a very nice person. I met her. She hugged me. I floated away. I felt awesome after that. So she's great in that. But as far as talking about StarCraft 2 or interviewing Drewby, not so much. Could she get good at it? Sure, if she played the game and got used to it. And understood the mechanics of the gameplay and the community and the history of esports and video games and the different teams and the companies and the metagame and the different strategies and the races and Heart of the Swarm and the history of Blizzard. There's a lot that goes into it that takes years to understand. But yeah, she could do all right. So, But there's my rant on my acting degree. I graduate in about 11 weeks, man. 11 weeks.
And then he's going to get his first job 10 or 20 years from now at a Barnes & Noble. Oh, wait, they went out of business. No, Borders went out of business. All right, good.
Yeah.
You're still in there, man. You still got gainful employ ahead. Awesome.
Yeah, well, I'll put the resume together, send it to some companies. Like, hey, guess what? I need to be hired. But I would love to do an IPL, and I'd be willing to do an NASL to help them out, better production value.
To help them out. Like for IPL, it's fun and it's an honor. For NASL, it's like a charity.
Well, it was getting all real up in here, and it still is, man. That is gangsta.
What? No, I would.
Clutch just throwing it down.
I would like to do an NASL. I would go, and I'd be happy about it because their production value is totally different. I would love to know what their music license program is because all the music they used, if they didn't pay for any of that, holy crap, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There's no way they paid for that.
You're qualified to be their sound guy now, man. Congratulations.
No, I would do it. I think it'd be a good time.
Licensing. You'd be like, you got to go.
Yeah. Hey, that Pokemon song, when it came on, dude, I went, I wish I was there. I wish I was there in one of those seats.
Their own songs. We made sure, because like after I heard that, I had to go talk to the players. I was like, did you guys pick your own songs? Or they're like, yeah, they just asked us what we wanted to play. I was like, okay, thank God, because that would just be mean to do.
Yeah.
Like Sesame Street opening.
Sesame for Idro as he walks down. That'd be funny. Anyways, but the different tournaments that we have, if you have better production value between the matches, that's what makes it a better tournament overall, and I feel my services could be used in different ways.
Yeah. You feel like if they paid you, you could make the effort.
Yeah. The best part is, like, they can get a 2-for-1. We call that a twofer in the industry. Like, if I go to cast, some bullshit that isn't worthy of one of the top-tier casters, obviously, then they can always throw to us on the floor, and we put on the dog and pony show, Clutch and I like to call it, where we talk about literally nothing, but make it completely entertaining. It literally goes for a little. Here's a little glimpse into how it goes in the behind the scenes MLG. We've got some time to fill. Clutch runs over to me. Clutch goes, Tumba, come on. We're going on the floor. We're going to do an interview. We want to talk? You know what? Forget about what we're going to talk about. Let's just screw these notes. We'll go live. We're doing it live, and we do it live. I make an ass out of myself, and Clutch saves it every time. So my goal is to try to throw Clutch off, and he hasn't figured that out yet because he's too good at bringing it back. I mean, I come a lot with the what? I'm sorry, and that still doesn't.
I have fans. What?
Yeah, I have fans. Now, when you tell them to your fans, I'm like, what? Fans? I have. When did this happen? And Simpatico's getting all the crowd shouting "Tumba, Tumba," and the crowd's going, "Who the fuck is Tumba? Oh, he's that guy right there." Oh,
they'll shout just about anything. Though.
They're also thinking, "Who's this Clutch guy?"
No, they knew who Clutch was. Clutch was top on Reddit, but it's funny you say that though, because really it goes back to, I'm going to link to another point that you guys made. You can't take somebody and put them in front of a camera and expect them to listen to production and then go ahead and respond to production with the instructions and continue to cast. That can't be a revolving door, man. You've got to get talent that's used to doing that, or that will show through. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no doubt. And I don't think there's anybody better at grooming people for that success currently than MLG is, because they've taken it not just in StarCraft, they've done it in various other games, and you see all these casters that become just pinnacle of the community. So, hopefully that continues as well. But
well, I'm going to close out this point with this quick story of when I did my first interview on the floor. And what had happened was there was an issue with Battle.net, so we couldn't start the first matches. And one of the producers comes over to me, and he goes, "Hey, we're going to do an interview real quick." And I go, "Okay." And so we go to the floor, and he goes, "Who do you want to interview?" And I look around, and I see Whitera, and I go, "Whitera." And so I go and grab Whitera, and him and I have talked a couple times before at a previous BlizzCon and some other MLG events. And literally, questions are firing off in my mind as we're walking over and the camera's getting set up. I had no pre-interview questions. I had no pre-sit-down meeting with Whitera to talk about what kind of questions I'm going to ask about. I knew him as a player. I knew his stats and his history at different tournaments, and that's what I had to work on, and that was my first interview, and everybody loved it there. And I came back, and the director's like, "That's what I'm talking about." That's the kind of people you have to have, and I don't mean to boast, ladies and gentlemen, but that's the kind of people you have to have that have a history with the game have a history with the players, and have a history of being talent on camera to make that show. And that's how you have a great production.
Yeah.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but toot is what he just said.
Yeah.
Nice.
A much deserved toot.
All right. Well, let's
Yeah,
shift
True,
gears
though.
here.
Yeah, let's shift those gears.
I wanted to bring up this mod tournament because the StarCraft 2 mod community does exist. It does exist, even though we mainly see 1v1s. And it is called the Star Strikers World Cup, and it is by ModSpots. The website is sc2modspot.com. That's sc2modspot.com. And this tournament happens in March, I believe. March 9th through the 11th, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check that out. There'll be more information on the website. But it's cool to see some tournaments outside of the 1v1 regular matchup. That this is Star Strikers. It's kind of like the Mario Super Strikers, whatever it's called, that soccer game. And it looks kind of cool. Kind of breaks up the...
Have you played any of it,
going on.
Josh?
I have not. I plan to, though.
All right.
Pretty soon.
It's
Have you,
actually
Wigan?
a lot of fun. Yeah, I've played with Robin Wonders.
Nice.
And
that was terrible.
he is a pro Star Strikers player, I have to say. So I got to wonder if he's going to be playing in it, man. He's in the chat. Maybe he can answer us for that.
I'm certain he'll be there.
At least he's good at something. Oh.
Oh, Wombat.
I love Robin.
There's a
dude.
$200
Brutal.
prize pool up for this tournament as well.
Oh, wow.
And the TeamLiquid.net forum page post, there's a link to it on the website as well, has more information and some videos of what Star Strikers is all about, and also a list of the different players. So pretty cool. Make sure to check that out. And also coming on tonight at 11:30, which will be right after this show, on the Stim.tv cast is a new show called Behind the Screens, hosted by Dak, I know him as Dak, and Leia Jackson, and they'll be interviewing Sir Scoots, but it's not going to be an interview related to only esports. It's going to be more in-depth to learn about the life and times of Sir Scoots himself. Go
Can
ahead,
I chime in
Tumba.
on this, considering
Yeah.
it's
It's gonna be my shout-out.
partially my site with Simpatico. I mean, it was Simpatico's
yeah.
brainchild, right? And then we decided to partner up in Stim later on. Now, let me explain a little bit so people can appreciate this more, how this happened. Because Dak is a unique individual, okay? No, he is. What happened was I was leaving MLG Providence, and Clutch and I typically get to the airport, and he says, screw it, I'm going to Miami, and comes with me, which did not happen this time, unfortunately. So it gave me more time to actually interact with people at the airport, considering I had to go to one. So instead of just drive through. But a guy says, oh, Tumba, congratulations. I'm with Lily, of course, getting ready to fly home after the big engagement. And he says, listen, I go to Hamilton College. I'm a big fan. I flew out for this. It was awesome. And he was really almost like a little nervous, which I was not comfortable. Not that I wasn't comfortable. I was comfortable. I'm always comfortable. But I'm like, in the back of my mind, like, this dude is this like a fan. Like, I'm having a fan experience right now. And to me, it was surreal, right? So, of course, I'm like, give me your Twitter. Give me your email. Let me take a picture with you. Come home with me. Clutch did it. You'll be fine. I'm no psycho. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want to take my first legit fan home. Like, come with me. Move in. So him and I, remain in touch. He asked me to be on his radio show there at Hamilton College. And I said, listen, your radio show is phenomenal. In Control followed it up afterwards. And I said, I would love to have you we would love to produce your show at STEM, but you know what? There was a bit of an issue with like Hamilton and non-for-profit and whatever. So Dak and Simpatico got together, and Simpatico's always had this thing with STEM and ASCW where your own ambition is the only thing that limits you, right? So if you want to do a show, feel free. As a matter of fact, anybody that wants to do a show, let us know. We will help produce your show if we feel it's good enough. But, it's one of those things where Dak, who I met, sort of as a fan, is now more than a friend. I mean, he's a peer. He's doing this show with Leah Jackson through STEM TV. So just a marvelous story there, and I'm glad I took the extra 5 minutes to meet him because, man, that really paid off for STEM. So,
and what's the website for STEM's stream? for tonight?
It would be Twitch TV /Stim StarCraft because somebody took Stim. So, or you can go right to stim.tv to check it out. But yeah, big heart out to Dak. Thank you, of course, to Scoots as well for doing the show tonight. And Clutch, man, what a surprise. Like, I love you like a brother. You already know this, but to plug the show, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. All right, guys, well, wrapping it up for tonight, our last topic is going to be the upcoming MLG Online Winter Qualifier Arena long title, whatever it's called, but Korea's going to be involved starting this weekend on Thursday. So, looking at the bracket, picks, rapid fire, starting with you, Wigan.
Do we want to go down the whole list, guys, or just want to do like one sure pick and one upset?
One sure pick.
We're running a little close on time. Okay, one sure pick. Do you guys have the bracket, by the way? I linked it in the show notes.
Yes.
Yep. On you guys. Okay. Not picking a bye because that'd be cheating. My sure pick is going to be... I'm actually just looking at these for the first time. I'm going to go with... oh, God. This is actually hard. I'm going to go with Clyde over Genius, actually. That's what I'm going to go with as my sure pick. I'm almost positive that Clyde is going to win that game.
Okay.
And, God, now an upset. Okay. Gumiho is going to beat Noblesse. That is my upset.
All right. All right. And to take the whole thing, who do you think?
Take the whole thing. Jeez.
Jeez.
Should have given me more time to look at this.
All I have to do is say MMA and move on.
MMA.
Yep. All right.
Wow, who didn't know that?
Tamba.
So cheap. Oh, Mina. Oh, God. Okay.
You have to be on the spot. Have fun.
Yeah, this is hard, Wigan. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just a few names on there. You know, a lot of good players.
There's a few good players here, and I want to throw something out that.
It's hard to pick a ridiculous one.
It is.
They're really good matches in general.
Why does the STC have a bye? Like, because that would have been my pick against almost anybody. Gonzi too.
How it goes.
Oh, okay. I got it.
All right.
Oh, this would be more of an upset, though, I think, so let's not go there either. Okay, I will take my sure thing. Oh, God, people are going to kill me for this. I'm going to go White Raw over Inca. And then I would say, as far as an upset goes, Fruit Dealer over Huang Sin, for sure. And then to win the whole thing, God, how do you not pick MMA, really? But I'm not going to do that, right? Because that's cheap. Because
it's cheap.
Wigan already got it, so I already know how that is. Oh my God! Okay, you guys, major to win the whole thing.
Major.
Yeah.
Major Princess
Juan's
Fairy
gonna do
Dancer
it.
Terran Pro.
If he can wake up, man, I don't know. They're gonna have to have a lot of Skittles there, to keep him confused, and all the colors gonna have to disorient him so he stays and actually plays all the games.
If you were right about that, I will owe you so many jerseys.
Yeah. Wombat.
My sure thing. Let's see. Let me scroll through here. I'm gonna say my sure thing is I'm gonna go with Puzzle over Happy.
Okay.
My sure thing, because I'm going bold, like Marlboro Reds, flavor country, man. My upset, I'm going to go with Clyde over Genius. I believe Clyde can do it, and to win the whole thing, let's go off the reservation. I'm going the STC. It's his hour.
Dude, that's a good pick. That's a solid pick. He can do it.
Right
It is his hour. He had to go, and he had to do his military service, but he's back, and he's looking strong, and I believe in him.
We saw that at Providence.
Yeah, he's a baller. He's one of the greatest minds in the
Orlando.
game, and I love it.
Orlando, sorry.
Yeah.
Orlando.
Cool. My picks are for definite Pult over Curious. An upset is Moonglade over Rainbow.
I would like to see. I love me some.
That would be
Moonglade.
really cool. Yeah. Then we'd have some. Oh, that wouldn't be Moon versus Moonglade. Damn. Oh well, never mind.
And to take
Disregard
the whole
that.
thing, MMA, because he's my bro.
Yeah, man.
I love it. Hey, but come on, guys.
All right, guys,
Let's
we need to wrap up the show. It's that time. So we're going to go through shout-outs and closing comments, starting with you, Wigan.
Shout-outs. I was going to shout out to Dak and his new show, but you already got that. So, shout out to everyone who came out and watched, man. It was like a who's who of people that are awesome in the
Yeah, it
business.
was.
So thank you guys so much.
Like Tempo.
For
I said your name,
Yeah.
bro. I said your name.
Tempo. Definitely Tempo. And Robin and Nursky and Frodan and Brightside and all you guys, thank you so much. So that's it for me. Oh, follow me on Twitter, MLG_Wigan.
All right. Thank you, Wigan, for being on the show once again, my friend.
Anytime.
Tumba.
Yeah, shouts out, of course, to Nexi and Astro. Also, our new sponsor over at Stim TV, Underline Entertainment. So you check out their music. Very, very cool. Shouts out to Clutch and Wigan. I love you guys, man. You guys are great. This show is amazing, and it really needs to get the 10,000 viewers it deserves, no doubt.
Right on. Thank you, sir. Wombat, it was a pleasure to have you on the show for the first time. It will not be the last. Shout outs, good sir.
Lucky. Shout outs for me. I got to give my shout outs to Alienware Arena. Those guys are one of the main reasons I'm actually still casting. They've treated me very nicely over at Alienware Arena, and they put on actually a really good show. Especially on the League of Legends side, top teams over there. Shout outs to Axel Toss, because I promised him. I just wanted it to be known that shout out was under duress, and whatever that means for you. But that's about it, man. Thanks so much to Clutch and Tumba and Wigan, all you guys. Let me be on the show, helping me out with the the MLG community casting stuff. I'm really looking forward to helping MLG out a lot this year, and it's gonna be fun.
Righto, sir. Thank you very much. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Shout-outs for me. Follow me at Twitter at Clutch08, and make sure to watch the VODs on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/8clutch, or here on twitch.tv, since the VODs are posted pretty much immediately, unlike it was before. Anyways,
No bitterness there.
yeah, a little bit subtlety. Anyways, but big shout-outs to everybody that's involved in esports. Everybody that's involved in esports. From the little guy that sweeps up after the events to the major casters and players. That's what makes this possible. And yes, it does take passion and it does take free labor to make this machine work for right now, but hopefully soon it'll come to a point where people can really build careers out of it that are not pro players or team managers, but that are part of the staff and the crew that make these events possible for all the fans to enjoy. Thank you so much for everybody's support of this show. Make sure to tell your friends about it, because we love doing this, and I feel that this show has some great topics that need to be addressed and that we did address here tonight. So make sure to send those links to the VODs. And, of course, have fun. Good game. And you'll see me next week on Singles Awareness Day. Some of you call it Valentine's Day. We'll have a good episode then. So take care, and thanks for watching. This has been Shifting Gears.